Hey guys, welcome back.
Yes, we're here.
Energetic, right?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
And cut. We're done here. That
Why?
is that is all the internet needed from me.
Oh my god. Just oh my god.
you want to
We're
you want
talking about we're talking about Rising of the Shield Hero. Finally.
I'm like save me. Just do it. Keep going.
Rising of the Shield Hero.
Yes. It is a show.
It's a show that I've been when I heard it had first gotten an announcement as an anime, I was floored because I've been following the manga since chapter 20 something,
Goodness.
and that was like years ago.
All right. So we've got a series that was a manga and is now a show.
It was actually it was actually just a novel.
Oh,
Then it got
okay.
made into a manga, and then it's now an anime.
Oh, well, that's cool.
Yeah,
Seems
they actually have actual book novels of the series.
some progression there. All right, so
Yeah.
that explains why I have no idea what some of these characters are. Cool. Um,
Yeah, there are a lot of characters.
so I mean, you're supposed to be on the lead here. Do you want me to jump in and be like,
Well, I mean, how about this? First things off, what we always do, yay or nay.
all right, I'll say yes.
Woo!
We'll do a yes.
Woo!
And so my reasoning behind it, and this will not get into spoilers. This is well established stuff. Okay,
When do we care about that?
but we'll get into the spoiler stuff because
Yes,
that's
yes,
why
yes.
we want to do yay or nay at the beginning. So without spoiling anything, the reason why yay is because I feel like this is the formula realized.
Really?
Well, because it's the so it's the trope of there's a character who's in our world and then gets taken from our world and put into another world.
A very, very common trope
It
nowadays.
is it is a very common trope, but it is a trope that is very very poorly done 99% of the time.
A lot of the times, the way the trope is handled is when they're sent into another world, they get some sort of overpowered cheat ability.
Okay, so I'm not even gonna go over the overpowered cheat ability because we'll get to that in the more detailed overview of things.
Yes. Yes,
Um,
because this show has a lot to talk about.
yeah, but the reason why I'm going to put it there is specifically because him being from a different world matters.
It does. It
Which
really does.
so this coming from a different world both plays into the plot itself, which is a good reason to be taken from your other world perspective, which is probably the most important thing when it comes to this. I'm going to call it even a genre in and of itself. This other world genre where the other world doesn't matter. So, in let's just say, what would be what do you have any others that come to mind stuck in another world? Should we say like Sword Art?
Um, like
So, because let me explain this in terms of let's do Sword Art. Let's do Sword Art because I know what I'm talking about here. Okay, because
yeah, Sword Art.
we've
Sword
done
Art is actually a decent example.
so we've run through Sword Art on this channel before. If you haven't seen it, don't watch it. It's garbage.
It's not that
I
bad.
was saying our review of it might not have been spectacular.
Oh, the entire thing of you just shitting on it
Yes,
for like a half an
of me
hour.
just ranting. Um,
Oh, it's great.
but so in Sword Art Online, these characters are stuck into a world. They're put there through virtual reality, and they cannot escape because if they try to, they will die. At no other point in the show does it matter that they're in virtual reality. They mention it once or twice that, oh, there's a whole bunch of people. They're moving them to actual hospitals and trauma centers and all this stuff. And that's why some people died, is because they got disconnected from the internet. That is literally the extent. You could have had a character, had them born like a coming of age story, and had them go through the entire events of Sword Art Online as again, a coming of age story and not a trapped in another world story.
Yeah.
Because at no point is there the only point that matters is after the resolution of everything that happens in Sword Art Online. It doesn't matter until Gun Gale. And at that point, you could have had just another series because the entire thing was presented as another series. So that's where I'm coming from, at least in terms of calling this the realization of the genre, is because this series actually puts forth effort into why him being from a different world matters. Not only that, I think it also does a very good job of differentiating timelines.
What do you mean by that?
So, and this is a small detail, but I love the fact that this detail exists. So, in his world, this entire world that he's transported to is from a book he just picked up.
Mm-hmm.
For let's say the sword hero. So there's a sword hero, there's a lance hero, there's a shield hero, and there's I can't remember, was it an axe hero?
It's shield, spear, bow, sword.
Oh, bow and sword. But Mr. Guy who comes in with the sword, no, he's the lance hero. The lance hero. Lance hero comes in and is all like, oh, in my world, this is a video game.
He compares it to a video game that he was playing.
So the idea is that the different timelines are all connected by this overarching storyline of this particular world being different forms of media in different timelines.
See, the way I interpreted it, like, I thought they were just comparing it.
See, that's something that comes up. I do believe they actually talk about it being from... No, it is a game. It is a game in a different timeline because they state the fact. There's a couple of them that have it as video games, their timeline. I believe one says it's a TV show. And I know the internet's going to correct me if I'm wrong, so whatever. But they do reference the fact that the shield is the weakest class, which wouldn't be a reference they would have unless it was a game in their timeline.
Yeah, because the whole thing is like they keep referring to all three of them refer to it as like a game.
So yeah,
like this is just like a game, and tanks suck.
I mean,
is basically what they're saying.
There are references. Obviously, it's very connected to the video game thing, which I do believe that the proper way to do a video game style show is making it just another world, because just being in a video game means nothing, and kind of takes away a lot of those expectations.
Like they have the ideas behind like menus and like skills and levels and stuff in this show.
Yes,
but it's not a video game.
No, but the it's
magic.
The thing is they're all referencing games, because they all recognize what games are, right? But at no, but the again, I believe it is the Lance guy. He comes out and directly states that the other three are like actual played, like, because it is a video game in his timeline, that the other three are actually played by a majority of people, and that the shield class is worthless. Like
Yeah,
it's played by
because the
newbies.
shield can't do damage and
Yeah,
doesn't contribute to the team.
yeah. So there is another thing I want to point out that's super well done about this, and we're out of we're directly into spoilers because we're gonna get into the first major twist of the show. And do you remember what that first major twist was?
Oh, yeah, it's with the it happens right away between Naofumi and oh, I forget what her actual name is because I just know what they call her now.
I'm just gonna call her stupid bitch.
Yeah, bitchy.
Yeah, bitch. So she he gets swindled by the okay, more spoilers. The princess?
Yes, it turns out that she's the princess.
Anyway, you don't know that until way later. And
Yeah.
most of this is just like again, it's spoiler city. Because there's a lot of people's motivations that you kind of get a hint for but don't know how they're connected. Um but he's put in a position where he's already the shield hero. He's already stated to be the worst of the heroes. Specifically because he's wielding a shield. Like,
Yes, because like he can't do damage, and that's what they're basing everything off of is how can you kill things if you've got a shield?
how are you going to defeat a dragon if all you can do is block?
Exactly.
So, so
But
the
it's a
other so the other three heroes are praised for being glorious heroes, and then the shield hero is kind of just left off to the side, even according to their religion, which is an interesting bit that does come up quite a bit because they have the Church of the Three.
the three heroes.
The I believe it was the Three Holy Weapons.
It, regardless,
Three
it's a
Weapons
church that
Church.
only praises all but the shield hero.
And there's reasons for that. For example, Shield Hero is more of uh, a a character to the demi-humans and other stuff, which I believe is handled really well.
Like the basically it's kind of also established that like they're not the first heroes that were brought to this world with the to use these weapons.
Yes, it that is also established, and
Like the whole thing was the previous shield hero was somebody who was loved by the non-human races and like basically kind of like fought for equality in a way.
well, you
In a way, like
and
he basically didn't see racism.
no, and there's other things that kind of pull to that too. Um, for example, you can imagine if there's this much conflict in between the heroes now, there'd be a similar situation going on. So you're thinking like this has been going through in cycles. So can we say can I say what my favorite part of the series is?
Sure, like we'll have to go back to where we left off with the summary.
Well, no, because we're getting there.
Oh, okay.
We're getting there. So he's back. So he's backstabbed. He's left with nothing. His whole he's a hero thing is completely out the door because he can't be a hero because he's a bad guy. So why?
They so the reason why he's a bad guy is because like
he was just tricked.
basically he was tricked. The stupid bitch or whatever agreed to like party up with him because non-heroes were joining in parties with all the other four heroes because the four heroes can't train and level together
Yes,
because their
they're not
weapons
allowed to.
cause them the weapons cause them to not be able to like get like basically accumulate experience when they're by each other.
Yeah, I'm not exactly thrilled with that plot point. I think
It
it felt way too manufactured for me.
yeah, but
Like one of like if I were like if you look back on it, I think it might have been a more correct decision to be like, oh, we want you to level up with these other people because then we have a second line of defense or something. You know what I mean?
yeah, but
I think that might have been just a better way to take it. I don't disagree with what they have because well we'll get to that. Um,
but regardless, what happens is um all of these other adventurers or whatever pair up with the other heroes, and now Fumi is left by himself.
yes.
And then
Because
uh
who wants to be who wants to go with a hero that can't hurt anything?
yeah, who wants to be with the shield hero? But then this one chick steps forward. Her name is Malty, or stupid bitch, and she agrees to be like the only one that agrees. Like, hey, I'll go with the shield hero. That's fine
Yeah.
because he can't kill anything by himself.
All right. Well, I'm gonna take this off the rails a bit because we can go through all the details, but you could also just watch the show, which is actually really good. You should watch it. I think we should just hit like the major plot points
Yeah. Okay.
because
So
so we could just be like multi betrays, and then he's left with no money, no party, and no one wants to talk to him because he's considered a rapist.
yes, because she
Okay.
lied and said that he did that to her when he
When
clearly didn't.
yeah. So anyway, so we get to my favorite part of the show where he goes, "Fine, if you want me to be a bad guy, I want to be a bad guy. I'm going to buy a slave."
Because it's the only way he'll get a party member.
So it's literally the only way he'll get a party member. You get introduced to the second main character of the show, who becomes a really strong lead.
Yeah, Raftalia.
So Raftalia, and then um, and that kind of spurs the whole. So he really embraces the "I'm not a good guy."
Yeah, fuck everybody.
And I cannot blame him. Like this is the reason why I really like this show is because it's a mentality thing. So yes, like wreck shit now. Like just go out and just be as horrible as you can because people aren't going to respect you otherwise.
Yeah, like he doesn't even really want to like help save the world anymore because of the fact that nobody is listening to him and nobody bothered to even care. And
Hmm.
everybody just treats him like a piece of shit. So he's basically just like, fuck everybody, I hope you all die.
And that's where I think the strength of this series, at least in the anime, is because after because we'll go on, they level up, whatever, um but like the resolution of him being a bad guy is kind of throughout the entire season 1. And the end where he is him being a bad guy is not just like dismissed but fully realized and like comes full circle, is, you know, feels like a complete arc, right?
Yeah.
That's really well done, and I don't think that any other thing they do in the series quite adds up to how well put together that is.
Yeah. Cuz like throughout the series and stuff, like he hides a lot of the fact in his travels that he hides that he's the shield hero.
Because the shield hero is bad.
Yes. And it's like he pretends to be like a merchant and stuff, and like people want help and everything, but he's not just like, "Oh yeah, I'll help you." He's just like, "Yeah, pay me first."
I
Like
mean,
but he does help the people, but he doesn't do it as a hero, as one of the heroes, because it would just be looked upon poorly if they saw the shield hero was helping them.
well, let's also look at it to the point where the shield hero or the heroes, the other heroes, the ones who aren't the shield hero are awful.
They're really bad at their jobs.
They are legitimately poisoning the world.
They think that they're helping, but they don't bother to realize that their version of helping has very bad consequences.
So, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I believe that the characters really were like I don't know quite how to phrase it. They were justified in thinking the way they were thinking, but it wasn't just that the justification didn't make up for the fact that they let things go that still needed to be taken care of.
Yeah.
Let's
Like,
let's let's give this place. So this place is starving. Let's give them the seed that we found. That's supposed to be really, it's supposed to be. It's just a seed we found. It's a
it's
seed.
magical.
It's magic, whatever. And they give it to this place, and they're like, oh, we're prosperous for all of 5 minutes until the plants take over and start killing people. Like, or the my probably the best one is I killed the dragon, which is cool because that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to be killing dragons and being heroes. But they left the
Nope.
body there, and the body decay was like destroying everything.
It was basically the decay was creating like almost like a miasma that was poisoning the village and like killing people.
So it was, yeah, it was a thing.
And meanwhile, now Fumi is going around the world and stuff, just trying to basically be a merchant, and like has to clean up all this mess.
Yeah, and a lot of that has to do with the mentalities, I believe, of their the perspective worlds that they came from, because they didn't come from the same world. They came from the same place, but not the same world. Like they decided to do a timeline thing. Obviously, yeah, we're going back to the one was a video game, one was a whatever, because the way he explained it was like, oh yeah, you just thought that the dragon carcass would disappear because that's what it did in games. Well, it doesn't, because this is a real world where part of that, again, it kind of trickles back into the whole this is another world that you are now put in,
Yeah.
which
This is like an actual world.
which is why that plot point matters.
Yeah.
And
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 like that it was really cool that later on, like there's the scene or whatever where the sword hero is the one who like killed the dragon or whatever. He's the one who like he confronts Nafumi and
it
tells him
was
like, hey, what's the deal? I took credit, like you took credit for me killing the dragon or whatever.
was it the
And
sword one? I think it was the bow one that did that.
I believe the bow one is the one that gave the seed.
I think that one was the lance one, was gave the seed.
Regardless,
All
like
right, whatever, doesn't matter.
one of them killed the dragon, and like the sword and the bow were like both confronting him about it and stuff, and he's just like, what are you talking about? Like, you carelessly left that corpse there, which started poisoning the village. I'm the one who cleaned up your mess. And they get mad, like the one, whichever one it was, gets mad at him, like, no, you're wrong. And like, he also, and then he points out the other one, what they did that was wrong.
Yeah, it
No,
was
the sword one was the dragon. The bow
okay.
one
Sword
was
one is
the bow one was going around doing things, but not revealing that he was the one who was doing them.
oh yeah, that's what it was.
And basically, Naofumi was just trying to be like, "Did you tell them that you were the one who did these things?" And he's just like, "No." Well, there you go. And like the bow accuses him of lying, and just looks at Ren, who's the sword hero, and he's just like, and Ren just looks at him. He's like, "Why would Naofumi have? Why would he lie about this? He has nothing to gain from lying to us about this."
Well, there was also some really weird things that were going on in the show.
But my main point with that is it's the fact that he's like cleaning up these messes and stuff, and like being a good guy while still acting like he's the worst, like he's still acting like the bad guy they expect him to be. But then at the same time, he's also kind of showing to the other, like at least two of the other three heroes, that you guys have got it wrong, and they kind of start realizing it.
Oh, I mean, okay, so there's another part that we should probably go over, which is them going over like how they're getting stronger, like what actually matters. So there's Nafumi, who has the skill tree. There's the bow hero, who believes it's all about item drops and item rarity. Ren, who I can't remember. There's like four different things, and they had an entire fight. Like that was a huge plot point. Was they were all fighting about how they got stronger, and like Nafumi comes around and is all like, okay, so let me just try this out, and it's like, oh, if you believe that actually exists, then it does.
In other words, all of them were right in their own way.
But they wouldn't listen to each other. I think like
Exactly.
it has a lot to deal with. I don't know if this is like getting too far into me being political, or I don't know how you would describe it, but or like a narrative, as it were, but like how polarized things are. Like it's this or it's nothing.
Yes, they have very their opinions, and like what they believe is right, and if other people don't agree, they're wrong.
Where Nafumi is more of a mediator.
He's trying to piece everybody together
I
because
he, it's not even that. He's forced into that position.
yes, he's forced into basically being the in between.
So his position from the outset is forced. He's forced to be the bad guy. He's forced to be the the shield hero. He's like he goes into the demi-human, and then or the demi-human villages, and then he's forced to be their savior. Like he's dealing with the roles that he's forced into, which is I'd like to say more stimulating than a lot of the other shows in the genre, because his position is changing. Right?
Yeah.
Again, we go into things like what was another, like, in another world show that we watched recently?
In another world with smartphone.
Sure, in another world with smartphone. He moves up a linear ladder in that. It is it
Yeah.
is it is very much I am the best being there is. I will forever be the best mage ever. And you don't see a growth within the character from that. Where in this you're seeing growth of him being the villain, and then him accepting that he's actually done good, in spite of everybody forcing this position on him. And then he goes and he's like, okay, so I'm forced to deal with these other people's messes because I'm dealing with the people. And it's so much more rewarding to watch and to read, I can imagine. Just due to the fact that there is progression in many areas of this character that we're getting to know.
Yeah. Like he goes through a lot.
He goes through a fuckload. But I don't know if we want to give out anything else. So the series ends. I'm just gonna skip to the ending because we went through a lot. Because at some point it's like, yeah, he's fixing up the other heroes' messes, right? We're just gonna put that in general terms because there are a few of them. And we'd even talk about the bird, but the bird is important. Like, I can't deny that she's not important, but at the same point, she just seems to be a plot device to move things forward.
Yeah.
So I'm not even, because you don't really see growth in that character. That's kind of just a side character that's in the main party. At least that's kind of how I'm going to take it. There's really, I don't want to dwell on that one.
Yeah.
But at the end of the first season is the church with the cathedral and their holy weapon, the one that transforms.
Oh yeah, yep. I figured that's where like the season was gonna end.
Yeah.
So the queen came back?
Yep, the queen is back now. It's one of those that is gonna get another season. Like it.
Oh yeah.
It's so popular and it's just there. You're gonna get a second season. But where they left off was not satisfying. Not as satisfying as it should have been. I'll put it that way.
I don't know. I felt pretty satisfied when the queen basically cleared up everything with him.
Okay, yeah, because so the queen
just so good.
I think my problem was the fight with the not the priest, the deacon. I don't remember what he was. The pope.
Yeah, the father.
So that was super disappointing. People getting renamed instead of beheaded, and like Status being pulled, like that.
They gave the reasoning behind that. Because it's like, look, you don't want that negative image of sentencing them to death.
Yeah, it's I don't disagree with it. It wasn't like an explosive ending. So do you want to take just a second because I have something I just watched that kind of ties in the same way.
Oh, okay.
So, One Punch Man second season happened.
Is it finished?
Yeah, they finished One Punch Man season 2.
I wonder where they left off with the second season.
Do you want me to tell you? Because that's where I was going with this.
Like, where does the second season end at?
The killing of the giant centipede.
That's where it ends? Okay.
Yes! That's what I'm getting at. Like, it's like, what? Why are we ending here? Like, why is this the end? Like, I can see why, because there's a lot of things that kind of come to an end, but the problem that they are originally set out with is not finished.
Do you want to know something? The whole like League of Villains and the Villain Association or Monster Association the like the Hero Hunter arc is still going in the manga.
that's fine if, but like in terms of places to end, I think there could be like more outward progression, because in terms of the show, there's kind of a realization that like worlds are colliding, and like the winner of the worlds colliding is the one that's going to be saved.
Like, if I'm remembering the manga correctly, like, that's actually not a bad place that they ended it, because I don't think too much really happens too quickly after that
I can see
to get
that.
to a point that would be a better stopping point.
I can see that. It's just kind of bothersome that that's how it was.
Well, when their seasons are only 12 episodes long.
That's true. That's true. But I mean,
Like,
like
if they made the second season like 24 episodes,
that's the other argument, is that maybe it wasn't maybe it should have not been a 1 season commitment. Maybe it should have been like a 2 season commitment, because there is a reasonable following for the show outside of it being a show.
yes, like that series is really popular.
Yeah, and there's a reason for that. It's actually really well done. So, yeah, no, I don't know. Is that, should we just leave it there? Because
Yeah, it
it's,
basically it you say that the ending of the first season of Shield Hero could have ended a little bit better.
it could have ended in a more explosive manner, because there's
Fair enough.
because the way it ends is it ends on a personal note. Um, I mean,
It
they could have worked things up and ended it during one, like at the end of one of those huge epic battles that they had with, the rifts and everything.
like when he like gains the power of that Iron Maiden.
Something, like you feel
That
like
thing was sweet.
you but you understand where I'm coming from. Like there were other times that appeared throughout the show that were like, oh, cool. So this is going to be like an action pack, really cool. And that's not it. Like, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of personal growth, and there's a lot of, like loose ends that were tied up, but it didn't feel like a finale of a season, because you didn't have that one epic moment.
Yeah, like I don't know, the fact that it ends with him basically like getting his name cleared and like everything kind of going to where it should be, like that's not a bad way to end it, because it's ending that arc. And the whole arc was about like him basically becoming the hero he needed to be,
My
or he needs to be.
my argument, and I'm going to leave it there. You can rebuttal if you want. My argument that I'm going to leave is that if it's an action show, you probably don't want to have a drama ending.
But that's the thing, it's not completely action though.
I get that. I get that. It was just one of those things that it just doesn't totally match up with the feeling of the show in other aspects. Usually, because like you don't need to be total action, but that means that there should be like more suspense or more, and you didn't get that at the end.
I don't know. It's all based on opinion.
Yeah. But that being said, go watch it. It was interesting.
I love this series. Like I have like I've been getting like every volume of manga when it gets released.
I mean, it is definitely a thing to keep an eye on.
It's good. Hopefully it gets another season.
Yes.
So, alrighty. So, Andy,
Hi.
what are we doing next time?
Next time, we are going to be watching a show that comes actually highly recommended. It shows up on quite a few lists of like weird things to watch. is Paranoia Agent.
Hmm.
It's supposed to be like paranoia, where weird things are going to be happening, and you don't know why because it's paranoia and like something's wrong. But
Aight.
secret agent man. No, all right, be that way. Cool.
Aight.
Good talk.